Reports suggest that 90% of businesses are not prepared for Brexit. And one wonders why this might be. And I put it down to three areas. There's a whole lot of uncertainty around the way in which Brexit will eventually turn out. Businesses aren't aware of the resources that are available to support them. And thirdly, businesses haven't allocated resource to enable them and don't have the resource to enable them to undertake the strategic and business operational planning. What I want to do today is to go through a number of key steps that I think are important for every small and medium-sized business in preparing for Brexit. The first stage is to allocate sufficient resource to strategic and operational planning. In an ideal scenario, you would identify one person within the business whose responsibility it is to undertake strategic planning, operational planning for the different scenarios that might emerge via the Brexit negotiations and whichever route we end up going down. But it's equally important to ensure that whoever has that responsibility is also covered for their day-to-day job, so that they're not inundated with requests and information that will hinder their business's normal activities. The second step, I think, is to visit the Coaster Capital Growth Hub portal to identify the support and information and resources that are available to support small and medium-sized businesses in the development of their scenario planning for Brexit. Through the portal, you'll be able to identify support that is available via chambers of commerce, through accountancy professionals, and the huge amount of information that's being made available via government departments, including BEIS and DEFRA. Many areas of that expertise and resource is sector specific, so there's an opportunity to drill down into what really relates to your business. The third stage, I think, is really important, is to go to the gov.uk portal related to Brexit. There you can undertake a diagnostic tool that will help identify the key information that relates to your type of business and the sector that you're in. It's a 7-stage question tool and diagnostic, and what will result in is a very large amount of information on all sorts of aspects related to Brexit moving forward and planning. The next stage, I think, is really important, is to follow a number of key principles related to Brexit scenario planning. Businesses need to be fleet of foot and be able to adapt to whatever scenario we end up with related to Brexit. I also think it's vitally important that you support the people within your business, be they citizens from the EU or workers who are concerned about the impact on the business related to Brexit. A lot of this is related to communication within the team and the organisation. And I think that they will take a lot of comfort when they understand that the company is taking it seriously, looking out for the interests of the people involved in the business. I also think that you need to understand and know your supply chain, talk to your suppliers, understand where they are in relation to Brexit and how you can adapt the business model to be able to cope. There might be an impact in terms of shipping in goods from overseas and delays in imports, for example. Or it might be that you're going to need to build up stocks to allow for any disruption in supplies moving forward. But what's vital is to talk to suppliers and customers to understand their need, their position. It might be a supplier of your business is also supplying others, and they are increasing their demands in terms of supply of goods and services. What I also would suggest that you do is think about stock levels. Have you got enough stock in place to be able to cover any disruption or lengthening of delivery times? Another area to look at related to stock is looking at the investment in working capital that's required to build up stocks, but also be mindful in terms of the shelf life of any stocks and goods, that you're not bringing in additional stocks that might run out of their sale by date. Another area to look at is legislation and how that will impact upon your business moving forward. You might be in a sector where you'll be particularly affected in this particular area. For example, in the pharma, professional services, or specialist industries that have their own regulation. So it's mindful to be able to look at how that might affect and impact upon your business moving forward. There might be accreditations that you need to undertake with HMSC, and a lot of information is available via the Growth Hub that I mentioned earlier. Step 5 is to develop a plan. I think it's really important that if you're able to commit enough time to developing a strategic and operational plan moving forward, it's important to understand the impact of the different Brexit scenarios and introduce a plan for each of those if at all possible. Equally important is to develop mitigations to those different scenarios. As you drill down and understand the issues associated with each scenario, have a mitigation which relates to that. But it's really important to prioritise. There's a huge amount to be done. Businesses are busy already, and so if you prioritise around the key areas, at least you're starting to address the issues moving forward. And above all, take action. It's never too late to start the planning process, however near or far away EU Brexit is. Step 6 is working with other organisations that will be able to support you. I particularly think of the Chambers of Commerce in this context. They have a fantastic toolkit that can be identified and accessed through the Coastal Capital Growth Hub portal, but also through their websites as well. And in addition to the toolkit, many chambers, in particular Surrey and Sussex Chamber, are developing training sessions to support exporters and building up awareness and training to deliver responses and keep on top of export documentation moving forward. The final step, as I see it, is to make sure that you're seeking help and advice moving forward. For example, Coastal Capital is organising a series of clinics that you can book onto and have one-to-one sessions with not only our account managers but specialists in the tax and finance areas, and also on international trade. Because another side of the Brexit situation is the opportunity to explore new markets, to spread the risk, to identify new global markets that will help you develop the business moving forward. Another area of support that comes to mind is that the British Library are running a whole series of webinars that are really there to design to assist businesses to plan for Brexit moving forward, and they're looking at individual areas. So I would recommend having a look at those. The gov.uk website is a source of a huge amount of information, and that can be a challenge for a business to find what really works for them, is suitable, appropriate for the business. But again, help is on hand through the Growth Hub and other organisations to help you to identify what's most appropriate for you. And you can also sign up for newsletters and updates from gov.uk moving forward, so you'll be emailed through with information that relates to your particular sector or interests. Speak to your chamber. They're able to provide a huge amount of support moving forward that I mentioned in terms of the training and support and the toolkits. And speak to the Growth Hub colleagues, the account managers, talk through the issues, and we'll be delighted to assist you, to signpost you to the most appropriate area of support. And if we're not aware of it, we'll undertake that research on your behalf. Thank you very much.